Hello once again, and Tony here with my final review here in Pesaro, which is Gioacchino Rossini's Stabat Mater, which I saw at the Teatro Rossini. The conductor was Daniele Rustioni, the chorus master was Giovanni Farina, alongside the Orchestra Sinfonica Nazionale della Rai and the Coro del Teatro Ventidio Basso, and the soloists were soprano Salome Itzia, mezzo-soprano Enkelaida Shkoza, tenor Dimitri Korczak, and bass baritone Erwin Schrott. My first experience with this particular mass was through the tenor aria Cuius Animam, and from then on there, this was basically my gateway aria to this particular mass. And what's also interesting about Rossini's Stabat Mater was that it was first composed in 1832 with a completely different version from what was offered in the 1841 version. And it also had its premiere with a cast including soprano Giulia Grissi, who was the first Adalgisa from Norma, Dorina from Don Pasquale, and Elvira from I Puritani, mezzo-soprano Emma Albertazzi, tenor Mario, whose real name was Giovanni Matteo de Candia, and the bass Antonio Tamburini. So I was rather excited to hear this particular mass at the Teatro Rossini because of the solid cast members ranging from Salome Itzia, Enkelaida Shkoza, Dimitri Korczak, and of course Erwin Schrott. And after watching the Stabat Mater in its entirety, I was completely blown away by the music. After all, Gioacchino Rossini was always a master at making such wonderful music, and this was no exception. Everything about it was quite powerful. It was a very great and exciting experience from beginning to end, and there was a lot of great musical moments. Not just the tenor aria Cuius Animam, but also the soprano and mezzo duet, and even the solo arias for the soprano, mezzo, and bass, and even a lot of the chorus numbers. I thought that each musical moment was able to stand out really well. And the singers, as I stated before, were absolutely solid all throughout. Soprano Salome Itzia was in really good form tonight. She had that steely and stentorian quality in her voice, which makes her quite ideal for all of these dramatic exclamations. And she had a certain incision in her voice, which makes her deliveries come off as declamatory. Sure, a little bit of fine pianissimo singing would have also benefited this young singer. But I'm sure that in the coming years, she will improve much further and will go from strength to strength. I still have to give kudos to Miss Yitzia for really throwing herself into the music and for really singing each of these lines to the best of her abilities. She was able to add in a great amount of incision to her high notes, and she was just overall a fine performer who I'm sure will get better as time progresses. We also have the pleasure of having the veteran mezzo-soprano Enkelaida Shkoza, who has an incisive, dramatic mezzo-soprano voice and a great timbre to be found. It's round and rich, but more than anything, it has that incisive quality which I love in any dramatic mezzo. She certainly stood out quite well with her solo aria, and especially her duet with Salome Itzia. Their voices blended quite well. And yes, the signs of her voice are quite clear that she has been performing for many years, but despite all that, she still managed to be in her vocal prime, thus showing a lot of great musicianship, all thanks to that incisive and darkly hued dramatic mezzo voice. Dimitri Korczak was the absolute star in my opinion. His versatile and wide-ranging lyric tenor voice was an absolute thrill to listen to. His rendition of the Cuius Animam showed a great amount of musicianship and he showed charm, he showed a lot of vocal beauty, and he had a lot of really wonderful moments, not only as a solo singer, but also as part of the ensemble. He definitely held everything together, all thanks to his sterling musicianship and equally sterling technique, and he stood out wonderfully. Then we also have Erwin Schrott, a bass baritone whose career I've been following for many years. I was first acquainted with this bass baritone ever since I was about 12 years old, and he started to become very well known in roles like Don Giovanni and Escamillo, roles that basically suit his overall appearance, which has that typical swagger of any bass baritone, and roles which suit his overall handsome appearance. And he certainly gave a wonderful vocal performance. Yes, it's not really a true basso sound, but what he managed to use with his fine and dashing bass baritone voice was, simply put, amazing. The way he was able to make his high notes ring and the way he was able to bring in some resonant chest notes was absolutely wonderful to witness. He was a fine and consummate musician. He had a great amount of style and ease, and he was really solid all throughout. So when it comes to all these four soloists, I have to say that the absolute standout for me was Dmitri Korchak. He was able to be the absolute standout from beginning to end, all thanks to that focused, light lyric tenor voice, which has a lot of possibilities for greater roles, and I can definitely tell that he certainly is someone to look out for a lot more often. And I also still have to give my fair share of kudos to Erwin Schrott, Salome Yitzia, and Enkelida Szkoza for contributing their efforts so well. And the conducting done by Daniele Rustioni was really solid. He made sure that the orchestra played very well. He was able to be quite meticulous in his craft as the conductor, and he definitely led a fine ensemble. And of course, the chorus and orchestra were absolutely fabulous. So overall, what a way to close the entire Rossini Opera Festival of 2017, and what a way to also close my time here in Pesaro, with four fine soloists, especially with Dmitri Korchak coming out on top, and great conducting done by Maestro Daniele Rustioni. This was definitely an evening I will never forget, and this was something I'm going to keep very close to my heart. And for those of you who watched Gioacchino Rossini's Stabat Mater at the Teatro Rossini, what'd you think of it? Was there a singer out of all the four main soloists who stood out to you so much? Was there a certain piece which really touched your heart and stood out to you really well? Or did you feel like there was something that just didn't really hold up? Comment below and let me know. Well, that's all for now, and as you know, all good things must come to an end. I certainly had an amazing time here in Pesaro, and it's all thanks to all of the wonderful singers, all the great musicians, and of course, the fine conductors I have managed to see live. Each of these artists gave it their all in terms of everything they've got, and I bless them all. I am equally blessed to have seen all their talents come to fruition. I wish them all the best in all of their engagements, and I'm not going to name names here because I'm going to be here all day. But regardless, if you're watching this video, whoever you may be, whether I watched you in Il Viaggio a Rome or Le Siège de Corinthe or La Pietra del Paragone or even Torvaldo Ardoliska or all of those really fabulous concerts, I want to say thank you so much for your amazing artistry. Each and every one of you had something very unique to offer, and I bless you all. You are all fabulous in your own special way, Keep on fighting the great fight, and I hope to see you all on the flip side. And tune in tomorrow where I will be in Verona, and I also have a great amount of operas to be reviewing live from the Arena di Verona, and those are Nabucco, Aida, and Tosca. So until then, good night everybody, and as we say in Italy, buonanotte e alla prossima.